Chapter 2, Royal Soup Day. What the rat smelled was soup, of course. Yes, soup. Now, this was not your everyday soup smell. The aroma of the soup was so magical, so heavenly, so out of this world intoxicating that, the moment the ship docked, the smell lifted Roscuro up by his whiskered nose and led him off the gangplank, straight into the kingdom of Dor. The street was lined of endless soup shops, the Iron Kettle, Benjamin's Broth House, the steaming stew pot, the magic ladle. Roscuro couldn't decide where to begin. What's more, Dorian men, women, and children streamed down the street carrying huge bowls and spoons. "Oh, I can't wait to taste the soup," Roscuro told Pietro. He was perched upon Pietro's shoulder and peering eagerly into the shop windows. But to the rat's confusion, the soup shops were all closing early. Why today, of all days? Roscuro wondered, devastated. "Just stay close," warned Pietro. "We leave at 6. You know, we ought to think about staying here a little longer," Roscuro suggested. "Don't even think about it. Remember Shanghai?" Pietro reminded him. "Yeah, but this place is different. I mean, this is special. This place is," the rat struggled for the right word, it's strange. Well, maybe a little, but it certainly smelled good to Roscuro. On any given day, just a whiff from one of the soup shops was almost like having a full meal. But on one very special day every year, the kingdom of Dor was transformed. As if by fate, Roscuro and Pietro happened to visit Dor on that very day. Although they didn't know it, not yet, all they knew at that moment was that they wanted soup. So when another shop owner flipped on open sign to closed and hurried in the same direction as the others, Pietro and Roscuro followed close behind. In Dor, Christmas was nothing compared to Royal Soup Day. In the town square, Pietro and Roscuro joined the hundreds of villagers who gathered in anxious anticipation of their favorite holiday. Roscuro was delighted by what he saw. Towers of bowls and spoons teetered upon tables. A soup kettle band performed classic soup songs. Old men played the spoons, and two groups of red-faced folks shouted at each other. "Bisque!" yelled one side. "Chowder!" yelled the other. "Bisque! Chowder!" On Royal Soup Day, every Dorian, young and old, flocked toward the castle because they knew that at this very moment, deep within the royal kitchens, a masterpiece was being created. The royal kitchen staff could hear the crowd outside their window growing louder and more restless, but there was no time to peek at the spectacle. But while they were behind on this year's soup, and definitely not with Chef Andre breathing down their necks, the kitchen was abuzz with activity. Every space was crammed with moving conveyor belts, steaming cauldrons, and machines of every kind. Machines that sliced, diced, and chopped. Machines that stirred, whipped, and whirled. Olive pitters, speed pucklers, eggplant peelers, turnip sorters, and even a special flame-throwing machine used solely for the charring the skins of bell peppers. In the center of this madness stood Chef Andre, overseeing each and every step. "More onions," he ordered, shaking his head in dissatisfaction. "How many times do I have to say it?" His nervous crew scurried. "More onions, more onions, more onions," they repeated. Everyone knew Chef Andre was a genius, but they were reminded of it on the first Sunday of every spring. At exactly 12 noon, he would unveil that year's special creation. Until then, the Dorian mob jammed the town square waiting for the king to make his announcement. And as the aroma began to build, they speculated as to the contents of this year's masterpiece. The suspense was killing them, but in many ways it was also their favorite part. "Come on, me lovelies, place your bets," a bookie called to the crowd. "Bisque, 3-1. Broth, 5-1. Sea chowder, a long shot at 25-1. This year seemed more intense than ever on account of the scrumptious scent wafting out of the castle. When Roscuro got his first whiff of aroma, he could think of nothing else. Where, oh where was the soup, he kept wondering. And so was everyone else, when at last they saw movement on the royal balcony. The king stepped out to the thunderous cheer. Next came the queen, and then the princess. Wow, whispered Rosciuro, smitten. Princess P sparkled with light from her shiny golden hair to her sequin dress that twinkled in the sun. The king raised his hands to quiet the crowd. Welcome, friends, friends of soup, he greeted them. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. Princess P, the envelope, please. As the king took the envelope from his daughter, you could practically hear hundreds of stomachs growling. Everyone smacked their lips with anticipation. It is my pleasure, said the king, to announce this year's royal creation from the kitchen of Chef Andre.